Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. This is the lecture session for the topic of business correspondence. To be more specific, is on the writing of business letter, which is on communication, what is business letters, the importance, writing effective business letter, language, format, types, and the 4 types of business letters, namely letters of inquiry. It's not written there, but reply to letters of inquiry, letters of complaint, adjustment letter, and order letter. Together with that, reply to order letters. Okay, and I am specific with the word letters in this correspondence because this one refers to actual letter, not an email. There is a specific format for you to follow for letter writing. Now, the purpose of a formal letter is to communicate, and it's a process of sending and receiving information through written. That's why we call it a business correspondence. Right. Okay. And for the formal letter, it is under the formal communication for non-oral, meaning it's written. Okay, so formal and written. The communication process. Okay, so we'll talk about the channel and medium. The channel and medium, what we have in the present time would be the digital, that is email, messengers, social media, as well as chat room application, okay, or even online an online space where you can create an avatar and then communicate with another people. Okay, something like a VR live. Okay, that's the channel and medium. But in the business sense, the communication, the channel and medium is memo and formal letter. That's the physical formal one that is used. So at the first phase, we have the sender. Sender is from company A. So sender encode, meaning sender write the idea. So sender writes the idea, so sender encodes the idea. Into the third phase, that is sender transmits message, that is sending, through the chosen channel and medium, which is formal letter. And on phase 4, we have company B, which is receiver. Okay, so the receiver gets the message, gets the formal letter, decodes, i.e. read and understand the message, the letter. And phase 6, the receiver from company B sends feedback to company A and back to phase 1. So it's a cycle of process where the communication is gone back and forth between company A and company B through the medium of formal letter. The channel and medium here is the formal letter, specifically only formal letter. And as you know it, formal letter is sent through snail mail, physical. So the letter has to be typed out, printed, folded, put it in an envelope, write the address or type in the address on the envelope itself, paste, what do we call that thing? Stamp, sorry. It's been a while since I used a stamp. Okay, so post the stamp and then send it to the recipient. So that is the formal letter sending. Okay, at present time, the formal letter is, the formal business letter is still relevant and people still send it through physical means. Okay. And a business letter especially is written to convey information from one organization to another. And it is also to be written in only formal language. Okay, and the overall style of the letter depends on the relationship between the parties concerned. The less, I would say what's the word, close? Okay, the less acquainted you are, with someone, the more formal you need to be. If you meet someone for the first time, if you are sending a letter to strangers, then the more formal that you should be. And the more that you know someone, of course, the less formal you can be. Now, the common purposes is, of course, to make an inquiry, to respond to it, to reply to a request, to make a complaint. And the importance of the letters is, number one, it represents your company's public image and also your competence. Why? Because of the formal language that you use in the letter. You are a representative of your company, so it is crucial that you take into account that it's your company's public image. So you should not be tarnishing the company's value, okay, by showing your incompetence. So of course we wanted to show our competence, right? So the formal letter is a representative of our public image. So that's why in majority of formal letter, there is a letterhead with the logo on top, okay, and also usually it comes with a sign. Okay, there is not a single letter that is sent out from MSU to any of the students or of the correspondence without the MSU logo. There's always there. Even on my paycheck, the logo is also there. Okay, so it represents the company's public image. Okay, and it is actually more personal than a report, and it is more formal than memos or emails. And the formal letters is also considerably more permanent than email. This point is actually arguable because technology has now become, I'd say, technology has become more advanced. Okay, so digital era is taking over. You know, the industry 4.0, 5.0. Okay, don't really remember, but I do know that the technology is advancing, for sure. One of the thing about the formal letter is that it is considered permanent is because it is actually a constitute of an official legal record of an agreement. So the difference between a formal letter versus an email or a memo or any types of communication is that for a formal letter, you can actually submit it to the Court of Justice as an evidence. You could submit it as an evidence, but not email, not for memo. Unfortunately, one of the main reasons why it is very difficult to catch scammers, and in fact, some scam has existed from the 90s, such as the one that is quite famous is like receiving an email from a prince from a different country, or I've already made a payment to you, but the payment need to be released after you send me a few hundred ringgits, which is also a scam, but it is sent through an email. We've seen it, but unfortunately, because it is not considered as a formal mean of communication, that's still submitted as an email, right? It cannot be submitted in the Court of Justice. So this is where a formal letter is different from an email. It's for legal record of an agreement. And with that letter, if let's say something happens to you and you wanted to maybe file a report or summon a certain company or bodies that has done you injustice, you can actually submit it. There has been a case where staff of a company started working but never given an offer letter. So the company did not pay the salary for 2 months, but because there is no offer letter, the person cannot actually provide an evidence that the person is actually working for the company. So a note to everyone, when you are informed of a position as an internship or position as a worker, unless you have the offer letter, you have confirmed your offer letter, you have your attendance to your job recorded, such as punch in and punch out. That's quite normal lah, punch in and punch out, and also KWSP. That all employers must have the KWSP. Okay, if not, you are considered to be informally employed, and that's why many many working class people always get bullied or always get taken advantage of because of these legal issues. Unfortunate. There has been many cases of people who take into a part-time job but were not paid, or they will like, oh, you didn't come to work. There's no evidence that you go to work, so we are not paying you, which is terrible, but things happen. So that's why legal record is very important. It also can be used to something that you can follow up for telephone calls. So maybe you have made an order through telephone calls. So you confirm that there is enough product for you to purchase. So maybe you wanted to buy a lot for an event. So you call first the company and see if you could get that much amount within short period of time and make the purchase. So from that follow up, you will write the formal letter to I think for that one, it's an order letter. You can make a formal order. Okay. And from that, let it serve as the evidence that you have made an official order, and the company that received it should actually meet your requirement. And if they do not, you can request for a compensation. Okay, next. Letters also provide a wide range of corporate information, and sometimes letters is just sent out for the purpose of giving information. In the 80s and 90s, catalogs are really popular. At present time, catalogs is sent out as PDFs to WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups, or even groups for shopping or Instagram pages even, or even a TikTok. Okay, so that's still considered to be the present time corporate information. But what it used to be is that the companies that has existed from long ago, such as, I'm not sure if you still know Avon or Tupperware. I think Tupperware has existed for such a long time. It's such an I'd say it's an established brand lah, Koe. It is an established brand, yes. So they used to send out brochures, pamphlet, and also make orders of their actual products. So that's their corporate information. Okay, I need a 1 minute break. Okay, I'll resume with letters can support action. Okay, so sometimes letters that is sent out is a formal letter that requests for a person to do something. Okay, one is if, let's say, you are renting a house, or if you ever rent a place of your own, or if you have seen letters that is sent out from corporation requesting an action to very often, please pay your bills, please pay your taxes, cukai tanah, cukai pintu, cukai yang sebab tu dengan dia. So all sorts of things that you have to pay. Okay, so those are the letters that actually supports the action. So they submit to you a formal letter telling you that we have legally informed you to make the payment. And if you don't make the payment, then we can take necessary action. Or if, let's say, the company wanted to give you like a certain kind of repercussion, or well, very common summons lah. Okay, then they can provide the letter. Okay, so it's a letter that supports their action. And just a side note, because you are, after all, going into working world sooner, if not later. Okay, sometimes most corporation and most company, they are not allowed to fire, staff, or not allowed to fire a certain person unless there is a certain level of justification that have made out. For example, there is one particular staff who is always late 1 hour to 2 hours to work without any valid reasons and not discussed. So basically playing truants lah. Okay. And so the company still, even though the person is playing truant, they unfortunately cannot immediately fire the person because that's not legal. So what the company can do is they would call in the person for, number one, counseling session. So they call it occupational counseling. So they would advise the person to actually like follow what is expected and follow the timelines, and also what comes with repercussion of not following the rules. So that they have one action, which is ordering you to attend a counseling. So it is the letter that supports the action. Okay, that is there. And if, let's say, the staff already given like 3 warnings and then 3 times or counsel, and the person still does not change the attitude, then the company are allowed to take the action of termination. They cannot simply terminate someone without actually having taken a certain kind of action. Okay, that is an example on how you can use formal letter in terms of judiciary and also making things formal. In other parts, the letters that support action can also be, number one, letters that confirm your identity. So MSU can actually release a letter to confirm that you are a student of MSU from what year to what year. So it supports the action. So if you wanted to use the status of a student to apply for PTPTN loans or scholarship or any kind of bantuan or perkhidmatan that you have that is being offered by NGOs or governments, okay, of any kind, you can actually request this letter. It supports the action of applying. There. Next is the letters cell. It is also letters that justify who you are, what is your position, and you are a person that belongs to the company. So it's confirmed that you are someone who is legitimate, and especially for positions such as a seller or someone who promotes product. Okay. I've seen many agents of, I think because BTS endorsed this one, Koei. So a person who works for Koei actually have a formal letter that mentions that they are a legal, was it distributor? I'm not really sure. I apologize because it's not my field. I don't have much knowledge about it. I have never been good at business, unfortunately. Okay, so what I know is that they definitely have a certain kind of letter that certify they are the legitimate source for you to maybe get a service from Huawei, or they are the legitimate source where you can get help about issues pertaining to the product that you have purchased. So that's on the point of letter sell. And also the last one, letters that are efficient for targeted mass mailings. This one also used to be very popular, but because email and then WhatsApp and then Telegram and all this sorts of social media has emerged, like Twitter and everything, social media has emerged. So mass mailing does not usually happen, but we still see it. Sometimes if you go look at your mailbox, you will see advertisement. Okay, you still see advertisement. You will still see companies that send out letters for targeted mass mailings. This refers to formal letter, yes, but the recipient could be anyone. If you are interested, then you can get the information from the letter. If you are not interested, then the letter can be sent to the trash can, as per many of the advertisement that we don't need. Okay, but still, mass mailings is sent out. Okay, it's efficient because you don't have to physically, you don't have to sign all the letters. You also don't have to mention the names of all of the recipients every single time. If you're sending out 1,000 letters, then that is 1,000 names for you to be written and then print it. And after print, you put it in the envelope and then send it out. It's such a tedious, it's such a tedious process, but it is the process. So no matter how tedious, you must follow the process. Okay, that is for formal letter. At present time, where letters are mostly replaced by emails. Okay, so you will receive the kind of email that ended with, this is a computer generated email, so you do not have to respond, or this does not need a signature. So that is for mass mailings. Okay, on the digital versus the physical. For the physical one, sometimes even the letter is just printed out once, photocopied 2,000, and then sent out the 2,000 pieces of the formal letter used to. Now, just some on the tips on writing effective business letters. That is to know who your audience is. Okay, who is my audience? Back to the relationship part. Do you know the person? How close you are to the person? And how formal, what is the level of formality that you will take with the person. But once again, for formal letter, it is always best to go with the formal tone. Always best to go with formal, because we don't know who we might accidentally offend. So best to go formal. Just like if you are not sure of the dress code on what to wear to a certain event, best to go formal. Always go with the formal choice first. Okay, next, will your audience will be favorably or unfavorably disposed to what I'm going to say? Is the letter going to tell about good news or bad news? Okay, and also what will be the information, and then how will they use the information, and what impression do I want my letter to make on the readers? Of course, you wanted to deliver a good message or deliver the company image, or of course you wanted to look good even in writing. Okay, number two, have a clear sense of your purpose and also theirs. Do not send out a formal letter just to say hi. The purpose of this formal letter or the purpose of writing this letter is to say hi. Yours sincerely, signature, notice head. Don't do that. Okay, next is to select the best communication strategy and also to draft, to revise, and to edit your letter. That's one thing that you for sure have to do. And the 7 criteria of a good business letter, formal letter, is to be clear, concise, correct, courteous, conversational, convincing, and also complete. clear, concise, correct, cautious, conversational, convincing, and complete. All the 7 C's for a good business letter. Okay, so the steps again: decide on the purpose, decide what you want to say, get your ideas out in point form, order your ideas, arrange according to the most important point to the least important point, to write the first draft, and to read the letter to make sure that you will achieve the purpose. And number 7, if necessary, rewrite. Okay. Other tips includes the business letters should be respectful but not demanding. It should be modest and also not arrogant. It should be polite and not sarcastic, and to be positive and tactful, and not negative and condescending. Okay, that is for the formal, general formal language. That for formal letter writing. We'll be looking into the helpful phrases in writing business letters, but I'd like for everyone to join again the session in a minute. Okay, thank you for listening.